Hello everyone, my name is Vimal Raj. I'm a lecturer from GEMS Polytechnic College from the Department of Mechanical Engineering. So today we're going to discuss on the subject Mechanical Engineering Materials, that is 1625304 according to the HPT syllabus. Today we're going to discuss on the unit number 2. Topic is ferrous metal and alloy. So this is lecture number 8 and today we're going to discuss about the classification of steel part 1. The content of the lecture is that we're going to we're going to study about the classification of steels and low carbon. So first one is the classification of steels. So let me show you the pointer. So steels are classified into two types, that is low alloy. Next one is the high alloy. So basically only two types are there in steel. What are the two types? Low alloy and high alloy. So in low alloy there are three types, that is low carbon, medium carbon and high carbon. So these are the three types in low alloy steel. Okay, so steels are always classified on the grade basis, and high alloy is classified into tool and stainless. So this low carbon is again classified as plain high strength low alloy, and medium carbon is again classified as plain and heat treatable. High carbon is classified as plain and tool. So basically this flowchart tells us that what is the classification of steel, classified into two types, that is low alloy and high alloy. So in low alloy there are three types, that is low carbon, medium carbon and high carbon. And in low carbon it is again differentiated as plain and high strength low alloy, medium carbon as plain heat treatable, and high carbon as plain and tool, and high alloy is again classified as tool and stainless steel. Ferrous material steel. So steel is nothing but is an alloy of iron carbon. So basically the iron and carbon content will be there. So if the carbon content is below 3%, it is said to be cast iron like that. But if the carbon content is more than 3%, it is classified as steel. So this is a combination of iron as well as carbon. So here the carbon content could be more comparatively than the ductile cast iron or the cast iron or gray cast iron, and may contain other alloying elements as well as. So what do you other elements, right? Alloy is a combination of two or more metals, even a non-metal also can be there. So that is called as an alloy. So may contain other alloying elements. So several grades are available in steel. One is the low alloy, wherein which this low alloy to be lesser than 10% of weightage. And the next one is the low carbon, wherein which will be lesser than 0.25% weight percentage. And the medium carbon could be 0.25 to 0.60 weight percentage, and high carbon could be 0.6 to 1.4% weightage. And the high alloy would be more than 11% because it has a stainless steel and tool steel. So this high alloy will have 11 weight percentage of chromium. Okay. The effect of carbon on properties of steel. So this is the flow chart, wherein which this line shows the ultimate strength, this shows the Brinell hardness, and this shows the ductility. This is a ferrite, pellet and cementite. So this is the carbon percentage. When the percentage increases, the brittle also increases. So this is the ultimate strength, how much strength will be there when the property changes, when there is some changes in the property, how it is changing. So those are the things that are available. Generally, carbon is the most important commercial steel alloy. Okay, so increasing carbon content increase hardness. So basically, when you increase the carbon content in the steel, it will increase the hardness and the strength and improves the hardenability. So when the carbon content is increasing, it will increase the hardness as well as it will increase the strength. But carbon also increase brittleness and reduce weldability. So when carbon increases, there are chances of being increasing in brittleness. That means it can be break easily. So when you give it for a ductility in which the ductility is very low, that is the reason it shows the ductility is very low. Here you can see the ductility is very low because when carbon is increasing, the property of ductility is very reduced, because when suppose steel is being stressed or try to be changing in shape, or the shape shifting happens, it tends to break because the brittleness increases, right? And reduce the weldability also. So it cannot be welded like iron, because iron has a good ductility, malleability, so that it can be welded, but wherein which these steels are not having good ductility, so it cannot be welded. So because of its tendency to form martensites, this means carbon content can be both a blessing and a curse when it comes to commercial steel. So the carbon contents can be both a blessing as well as a curse when it comes to commercial steel. And while there are steels that have up to 2% carbon content, they are the exception. Most steel contains less than 0.35% carbon. To put this in a perspective, keep in mind that 35 by 100 of 1%. So now any steel is in between 0.35% to 1.8 carbon content can be hardened using a heat quench temper cycle. Okay, so that is how the effect of carbon property of steel happens. So when carbon increases, the ductility increases, strength increases, brittle hardness increases, but the ductility increases. First one, we're going to see about the low carbon steel. So low carbon steel is often called as a mild steel, and these steels have less than 0.3% carbon, 0.30% carbon, and are most commonly used grades. So they machine and weld nicely and are more ductile than higher carbon steel. So basically the tensile strength of this steel would be 535 Newton per millimeter. Hardness would be 140 Brennan hardness, and bright fibrous structure, tough, malleable, ductile, and more elastic than wrought iron. So the carbon content is very less. So because of that, it has a good ductility and malleability, and elastic also is there. And melting point for this steel would be 1410. For this, at a temperature of 1140, it can be melted. Okay. So this is the low carbon steel. So this is also called as a mild steel because of the carbon content that is present in the steel, which is very less, that is up to 0.30%. So basically these plain carbon steels are very low content of alloying elements, because of the small amount of manganese, and most abundant grade of steel is low carbon steel, and they have a great quality produced and least expensive because these steel has a carbon content which is less than less than 1%, that is up to only 0.30%, that is not even close to 1%. So because of that it's very least expensive, because the carbon content present in the steel is very less, as well as these are not responsive to heat treatment. Basically heat treatment happens, so when the carbon is more, the heat treatment will be accepted, but when the carbon content is very less, the heat treatment also will not be responsive. Next one is the cold working needed to improve the strength. So basically in order to improve the strength and hardenability, this steel has to gone through the cold working process. So when it goes through the cold working process, it will be improved. And basically these low carbon steel have a good weldability and machinability. We already read that when the carbon content is more, obviously the steel will not have a good weldability or good machinability, because it will not be ductile, because when carbon is present, ductile ability is very less. So these have good weldability and machinability because of the low carbon content, and high strength low alloy steels also is there, in which the weightage is up to 10% and have a higher strength and may be heat treated. Low carbon steel composition of some low carbon and low alloy steels are, these are the compositions in which you could see how much they use it. Basically they will do the grading for the steel. Grade E, grade A, grade C, so many things are there. Based on the grades they will evaluate. So AISI, that is SAE classification system. The letter prefix to designate the process used to produce the steel. This is an electric furnace, and X indicates the permissible variation if a letter is inserted between second and third number. Boron has been added and lead has been added. Letter suffix H when hardenability is a major requirement, and other designation or mention could be ASTM and MIL. This is a property and typical application of some low carbon and low alloy steels. See, 1010 tensile strength is 325 and yield strength is 180, and ductility is 28. Used in automobile panels, nails and wires. Next one, the model number is 1020, which is having a tensile strength of 380 and yield strength of 210, ductility up to 25, and this used in pipe, structural and sheet steel. Next one is the A36, which is having a tensile strength of 400, yield strength of 220 and ductility up to 23. The typical application could be structural, bridges and buildings. Next one is the A516 grade 70, which is having a tensile strength of 485 and the yield strength of 260 and ductility of 221. So this is like a low temperature pressure vessels they use. The next one is the high strength low alloy steels. So basically here the tensile strength will be more because they use low carbon here. So A440, that is 435 with the strength as tensile strength is 435, yield strength is 290, ductility is 21. Structures that are bolted or riveted. This one is the A633 grade E 520, is the tensile strength. Yield strength is 380. Ductility is 23. Typical application could be structures used at low ambient temperatures. A656 grade 1, that is 655 is the tensile strength. Yield strength could be 552. Ductility is 15. Truck frames and railway cars. Now we come to the applications. The applications is mild steel containing 0.15 to 0.2% carbon. It is used in structure steels, universal beams, screws, drop forging, case hardening, steel bars, rods, tubes, angles and channels, etc. So basically these low alloy steels, when these seals are designed for welded applications, the carbon content usually is 0.25% and often below 0.15%. Typical alloy includes nickel, chromium, molybdenum, manganese and silicon, which had strength at the room temperature and increase low temperature notch toughness. Because of that only they use this low carbon steel in this applications. And these alloys can, in the right combination, improve corrosion resistance, influence the steel's response to heat treatment, but the alloys added can also negatively influence crack susceptibility, so it's a good idea to use low hydrogen welding process with them. Preheating might also prove necessary. So the next thing is the mild steel containing 0.2% to 30%. It's used in making machine structures, gears, free cutting steels, shafts and forged components, etc. So this can be determined by using carbon equivalent formula, which will cover the later issues. So basically these are the applications in which the low carbon steel has been used. It is used in structure steels, universal beams, screws, drops, forgings, case hardening, steel bars, rods, tubes, angles and channels, etc. So mild steel containing 0.20% to 0.30% carbon is used in making machine structures, gears, free cutting steel, shafts and forged components, etc. So these are the uses wherein which mild steel are used, because basically this mild steel will have a good ductility because the carbon present is less than 0.30%, so it can be deformed and it can be regain its original shape after the deformation, so which is one of the good signs. And I hope this will help you guys to understand what is low carbon steel is. Basically low carbon steel is the carbon content will be very low. Okay, with that we have come to the end of the video. Today we discussed about the various types of steel. We also studied about the low carbon steel, which will be helpful for you guys to understand what exactly what is a low carbon steel is all about. So these are the reference book, you can go through it in case you have any doubts. Thank you guys, thank you for seeing this video. So this is lecture number 8 on ferrous metals and alloys. Thank you.